that we're all rooting for him. But you know, this is the real deal.
Welcome back to Quick Rundowns. Today we're diving into the explosive encounter between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor that turned an airport into total mayhem. Just a week after their heated exchange on social media, the two met face-to-face, resulting in a lockdown at the airport. Could a fight be brewing in the ring or even in the octagon? Let's find out. Jake Paul and Conor McGregor have never been friends, and their latest exchange proves this isn't changing anytime soon. Minutes after Jake Paul won by a 6-round knockout over Mike Perry, bringing his professional boxing record to 101, Conor McGregor took to social media to harshly criticize him.
Try your trade here at Bare Fighting Championship. Make a new name for yourself. Look at what has happened to Michael Perry. You know, one of our big stars here, the king of violence. He titles himself, and you know he's had such a rise in the sport. Now he's up against you know, a little dweeb of a thing in a fight this weekend.
McGregor attacked Paul's performance, claiming Paul had a significant weight advantage and suggested he was using performance-enhancing substances. He mocked Paul's call out of 60-year-old Mike Tyson, who recently had a medical emergency during a flight. McGregor's comments were filled with insults, accusing Paul of being afraid and questioning the legitimacy of his fighting skills. Jake Paul received a harsh critique from Conor McGregor on Twitter. McGregor accused Paul of having a significant weight advantage, using performance-enhancing substances, and still performing poorly in the ring. He also took a jab at Paul's management, suggesting they couldn't handle real athletic commission testing in Vegas. McGregor, come and try your trade here at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Make a new name for yourself. Look at what has happened to Mike Perry, one of our big stars here. Now he's up against a little dweeb in a fight this weekend. Paul didn't hear all of McGregor's comments, but got the main points. McGregor also claimed he was firing Mike Perry from BKFC after Perry's loss on Saturday. McGregor, who became a co-owner of BKFC in April, made this decision despite Perry being the promotion's biggest star since joining from UFC. Jake Paul found it upsetting that McGregor would fire BKFC champion Perry. He felt this was unfair and claimed he had predicted it. Paul then directed his frustration towards McGregor, whom he's been challenging to a fight for years. He taunted McGregor at the post-fight press conference.
With Big upping his boy Mike Perry, I said, okay, Conor, like after I fuck up Mike Perry, then you're next. So Conor's on Twitter all the time, he's on his yacht all the time, but guess where he's not? In the ring fighting me, so he can talk all the fuck he wants, but the notorious is scared of Jake Joseph Paul from Disney Channel. And I'm
Jake Paul Conor's on Twitter all the time, he's on his yacht all the time, but guess where he's not? In the ring fighting me, so he can talk all he wants. But the notorious MMA is scared of Jake Paul from Disney Channel. Paul pointed out that while McGregor went after Perry publicly, he himself is not stepping into the ring. Paul suggested that McGregor spends more time on Twitter and his yacht than preparing for a fight with him. Paul ended his press conference by saying McGregor can talk all he wants, but he believes McGregor is scared of him. Just a couple of days later, Conor McGregor was coming from a promotional event for his whiskey when he came face-to-face with Jake Paul at an airport. Initially, everything began with Conor shouting insults, referencing their social media spat. Jake Paul responded by taunting him to come over. It didn't take much for Conor to lunge at him, and a fight ensued. Both security teams tried to stop the fight and calm the situation, but everything became so overwhelming that even the police and airport security got involved. The whole section got shut down, and even a flight was delayed as people couldn't pass. Despite the heated exchange with McGregor, Paul doesn't seem too worried about their verbal battle. Instead, he's focusing on his next big fight. Paul's next challenge is a boxing match against former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. This fight is scheduled for November in Dallas and will be broadcast live on Netflix. Paul is gearing up for this significant event, shifting his attention from his feud with McGregor to preparing for the upcoming bout. Jake Paul, I'm putting everything I have into this training camp. I know what's at stake. Paul has mostly fought former MMA fighters in his boxing career. Mike Perry, who was in the UFC from 2016 to 2021, is now a key figure in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship BKFC. After losing to Paul, Perry was reportedly fired by Conor McGregor, a co-owner of BKFC.
He doesn't have a promotion because me and him are both owners of BKFC, so he can't fire me. We can fight in Bare Knuckle. Look at me, I lost to Jake Paul. Why don't you go fight Jake Paul in boxing with the gloves on? I think it would be worse than Conor McGregor versus Mayweather.
McGregor made a public statement about releasing Perry, suggesting he should compete in other boxing championships. In response, Perry pointed out that McGregor can't actually fire him since they are both owners of BKFC. Perry challenged McGregor to fight Jake Paul, hinting that McGregor would struggle even more than he did in his fight against Mayweather. Mike Perry, look at me, I lost to Jake Paul. Why don't you go fight Jake Paul in boxing with the gloves on? I think it'll be worse than Conor McGregor versus Mayweather. Despite the ongoing war of words, it's unlikely that Paul and McGregor will ever face each other in a fight. Paul is much larger, standing at 6'6" and weighing 200 lbs, while McGregor is 5'8" and 155 lbs. Given the significant size difference in their current plans, their rivalry is expected to remain a battle of words on social media rather than an actual fight in the ring. Jake Paul sat down with his brother Logan to review his recent performance and discuss his upcoming fight with heavyweight legend Mike Tyson on November 15th. Logan, also known as the Maverick, was surprised to learn that Jake's fight cost $64.99 for U.S. customers to watch. Logan Paul Conor McGregor must have watched it live and then commented on it on social media. Jake responded by thanking McGregor for the $65, which left Logan amazed at the high price of the pay-per-view. The conversation shifted to McGregor's social media tirade where he fired Mike Perry from BKFC. Logan Paul Conor's decision was a typical mistake. Despite his wealth, he's still entertaining.
2 fights left on my UFC contract.
And then you're taking up your drugs and joining.
Possibly, yes. Possibly.
And any idea of what? 1 year, 6 months, 2 months?
Well, I had my fight. I had my fight and it had to get postponed. But that's still gonna happen this year, end of this year. The talk is the end of this year, so I'd like to finish out the year with that. Then I've got one left. So we'll see what happens. After that, I'm gonna see what's on the horizon. A bare knuckle fighting a world title sounds very, very exciting to me. So we'll see what happens.
Conor McGregor's return to the UFC has been delayed due to a toe injury he suffered last month. He recently revealed that he has only 2 fights left on his UFC contract and is considering a move to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship BKFC afterward. Conor McGregor, 2 fights left on my UFC contract and then possibly joining BKFC. We'll see what happens. Earlier this year, McGregor became a part owner of BKFC. His brands Proper 12 and Forged Irish Stout have been sponsoring the promotion in 2023. He attended a BKFC event and showed interest in competing there, even having a face-off with BKFC star Mike Perry during the event. McGregor was set to make his comeback at UFC 303 on June 29th in a fight against Michael Chandler. However, he had to pull out due to a broken pinky toe. He hasn't fought in the UFC since July 2021 when he lost to Dustin Poirier and broke his leg. A new fight date for McGregor hasn't been set yet, but it is expected that he will face Chandler later this year. MMA journalist Errol Helwani mentioned that the plan is for McGregor to fight Chandler in December, likely on the December 14th pay-per-view event. McGregor himself tweeted that he has spoken with UFC President Dana White and is hopeful to fight in 2024. Conor McGregor, I'm looking forward to getting back in the ring. I've spoken with Dana White and we're hopeful for a fight in 2024. After the fight with Chandler, McGregor will have 1 more fight left on his contract. It would be surprising if the UFC lets him go, but McGregor, now 36 years old, has enough star power to influence his next career move. The UFC might have to let McGregor pursue his goal of competing in BKFC, or might we see McGregor in the ring with Jake Paul or other boxers? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates on this thrilling rivalry and other exciting boxing news. See you next time.